Commander Yura pressed her face against the viewing window. She could not believe what she was seeing. The Emperor Dragon, the creature that had attacked every person who came near it, was playing with a 5-year-old human boy. The dragon was making happy chirping sounds. The boy was giggling and patting its head. "Get me Ambassador Dohyun right now," Yura said into her communication device. Her voice was shaking. "Tell him his son is with the dragon." Behind her, the security team arrived with their weapons ready. The team leader, an officer named Minji, looked through the window and stopped walking. "What is happening?" she asked in shock. "I do not know," Yura answered honestly. Inside the containment room, Taemin had found a comfortable spot sitting next to the dragon. The dragon had its head resting on the boy's lap. Taemin was running his small fingers along the dragon's scales. Each scale caught the light and sparkled like a tiny purple jewel. The dragon's eyes were half closed. It looked peaceful for the first time since arriving at the station. "You need a name," Taemin said in Korean. "I will call you Byol. That means star. You are pretty like stars." The dragon opened its eyes when it heard the name. Its golden eyes looked up at the boy. Then it made a soft chirping sound like it was agreeing. Its tail moved in a slow, happy wave. In another part of the station, Ambassador Dohyun received the emergency message. His face went white with fear. He dropped his datapad and started running. His heart felt like it would jump out of his chest. His only son, his precious Taemin, was alone with a killer dragon. He ran faster than he had ever run in his life. Mrs. Samin had woken up and realized Taemin was missing. She was crying and apologizing to everyone. "I closed my eyes for just 1 minute," she kept saying. "Just 1 minute." Dohyun reached the containment area in 5 minutes. He burst through the door, ready to see something horrible. But what he saw made him stop and stare. Taemin was sitting on the floor, completely safe. The dragon was curled around him in a protective circle. When the dragon heard the door open, it raised its head and looked at Dohyun. The purple lightning started dancing across its scales again. A warning. The dragon was protecting the boy from the newcomer. "Taemin," Dohyun said very softly in Korean. "Come to Papa slowly." Taemin looked up and smiled. "Papa, look. I made a friend." "This is Byol." "Yes, I see," Dohyun said, trying to keep his voice calm. "Byol is very nice. But you need to come here now." Taemin looked confused. "Why, Byol is not scary." "Byol is good." The dragon made a low rumbling sound. It moved its body closer to Taemin, keeping the boy protected inside the circle of its body. The message was clear. The dragon would not let anyone take the child. Commander Yura stepped forward carefully. "Ambassador Dohyun, please do not make any sudden moves. The dragon sees your son as its companion now. If we try to separate them by force, it might attack." A new person arrived then. He was a tall man with glasses named Hakjin. He was the station's xenobiologist, which meant he studied alien creatures. He had been working in his laboratory when he heard about the situation. He brought his portable computer with him. "Let me scan them," Hakjin said. "I need to understand what is happening here." He pointed his scanner at the boy and the dragon. The device made soft beeping sounds as it collected information. Hakjin's eyes got wider and wider as he read the results. "This is amazing," he whispered. "This is impossible, but it is real. What is happening?" Yura demanded. Hakjin looked up from his computer. Humans produce certain chemicals in their bodies. These chemicals are called pheromones. Most species cannot smell these human pheromones, but emperor dragons can smell them. And to emperor dragons, these pheromones smell exactly like the chemicals produced by guardians. "What are guardians?" Dohyun asked, still watching his son carefully. "They were an ancient species that went extinct millions of years ago," Hakjin explained. He was talking fast because he was excited. According to very old texts, guardians were the only creatures that emperor dragons trusted. When emperor dragons were babies, guardians would take care of them. The dragons would bond with their guardian caretakers. But when the guardians died out, the dragons had no one to bond with anymore. They became angry and wild because they were always looking for their caretakers, but could never find them. "So Taemin smells like a guardian to the dragon?" Minji asked. "Exactly," Hakjin said. "All humans probably do. We just never knew it because humans are new to the galaxy. This is the first time a human has been near a young emperor dragon. The dragon's instincts are telling it that this child is its proper caretaker. This is what the dragon has been waiting for its whole life." Yura looked at the dragon and the boy again. "So they are bonded now?" Yes, Hakjin said. Breaking this bond would be very bad for both of them. The dragon would become violent again, maybe worse than before, and the child might be traumatized. Do-hyun felt his stomach drop. Are you saying my son has to stay with this dragon? I am saying they need each other now, Hakjin answered gently. Inside the containment room, Taemin had no idea that the adults were worried. He was having the best day of his life. Byul was the most amazing friend he had ever had. The dragon was warm and soft. It made funny sounds that made Taemin laugh. When Taemin hummed a song, Byul hummed back in its own way. Are you hungry? Taemin asked Byul. The dragon tilted its head. Taemin pulled a snack bar from his pocket. His father always made him carry snacks. He broke the bar in half and offered it to Byul. The dragon sniffed it carefully, then ate it very gently from Taemin's hand. Its teeth were sharp, but it was very careful not to hurt the boy's fingers. Yura made a decision. Open the cage door slowly. Let the ambassador go inside. But only him. The dragon knows his scent from the boy. It might accept him. The security team looked nervous, but they followed orders. The cage door opened with a soft hiss. Do-hyun took a deep breath and walked inside. He moved very slowly. His hands were shaking. Byul watched him come closer. The dragon's eyes followed every step. The purple lightning on its scales grew brighter. Do-hyun stopped a few feet away. He knelt down so he was at the same level as his son. Papa, sit with us, Taemin said happily. He patted the floor next to him. Do-hyun sat down carefully. Byul sniffed him several times. The dragon could smell Taemin's scent on the man. It understood. This was the boy's family. After a long moment, Byul relaxed. The lightning faded. The dragon went back to resting its head on Taemin's lap. Hello, Byul, Do-hyun said quietly. Thank you for being gentle with my son. The dragon made a soft sound. It seemed to understand that this man was important to Taemin. Outside the cage, Hakjin was typing rapidly on his computer. I am finding more information, he said. According to the old texts, when a guardian and an emperor dragon bonded, they stayed together for life. The dragon would protect the guardian from all danger. The guardian would help the dragon grow strong and wise. They were partners. That sounds beautiful, Mrs. Soman said. She had stopped crying now. But Taemin is just a little boy. How can he take care of a dragon? The dragon will help raise itself, Hakjin said. Emperor dragons are very smart. Byul will know what it needs. It will just need Taemin's presence and love. That is what it has been missing. Yura was thinking about something else, something that worried her very much. The Draconid Empire sent this dragon here. They have plans for it. When they find out that a human child has bonded with it, what will they do? The room went quiet. Everyone understood the problem. The Draconid Empire was powerful and mean. They did not like it when things did not go according to their plans. This dragon was important to them. They would want it back. Minji checked her security messages. Her face went pale. Commander, we have a problem. A message just came through the long-range communication system. The Draconid Empire is asking for a status update on the dragon. They want to know if it is secure. What should I tell them? Yura asked. Hakjin looked at the boy and the dragon through the window. Tell them the dragon is secure and calm. That is the truth. Just do not mention why it is calm. Yura nodded. That will buy us some time. But not much. They will send representatives to check on the dragon eventually. When they see that a human child has bonded with it, they will try to take it away. They might try to take the boy too. Do-hyun's arms tightened around his son protectively. Taemin was leaning against his father now, getting sleepy. Byul had curled its body completely around both of them. The dragon's breathing matched Taemin's breathing. They were in sync already, like they had been together forever. Over my dead body, Do-hyun said firmly. Nobody is taking my son. Nobody is taking the dragon either, Hakjin added. This bond is a miracle. It is the first of its kind in millions of years. It must be protected. Yura looked at her team. We need a plan. The Draconid Empire is not known for being kind or reasonable. If they want this dragon back, they will come with weapons. There are laws, Minji said. Galactic laws about bonded pairs. If we can prove that the boy and the dragon are truly bonded, they might be protected. Where would they be safe? Mrs. Soman asked. Hakjin had an idea. The sanctuary worlds. They are neutral territories. Ancient treaties protect all bonded pairs there. If Taemin and Byul can reach a sanctuary world, they would be under galactic protection. The cargo ship arrived at Station Harmony at exactly 7 in the morning. Inside the ship was something that made every creature on the station afraid. It was an Emperor Dragon hatchling. The container holding the dragon was made of the strongest metal in the galaxy. Even so, the metal had scorch marks all over it. The dragon inside was very angry. Station Commander Yura stood in the docking bay with her arms crossed. She did not want this creature on her station. She had read all the reports. Emperor dragons were the most dangerous creatures in the known universe. They were smart, powerful, and they hated everyone. This one was just a baby, only 3 feet tall, but it had already hurt 4 alien workers who tried to move it. It had also melted through 2 different cages with its fire breath. Why did they send it here? Yura asked the cargo captain. The captain, a tall blue alien with 6 arms, shook his head. Nobody else would take it. Your station was the last option. The Draconid Empire wants it kept somewhere safe until they decide what to do with it. Yura did not like this answer. The Draconid Empire was powerful and scary. They ruled over many planets. If they wanted this dragon kept safe, they had big plans for it. Plans that probably meant trouble. The workers moved the container very slowly. They used machines to lift it because nobody wanted to get close. Through the small window in the container, Yura could see the dragon. Its scales were black like the night sky. Purple lightning danced across its body. Its eyes were bright gold and full of anger. When it saw Yura looking, it opened its mouth and shot a small burst of fire at the window. The fire did not break through, but everyone stepped back anyway. Put it in holding cell 7, Yura ordered. Double the guards. Nobody goes near it without my permission. The workers nodded quickly. They were happy to lock the dragon away and forget about it. On the other side of the station, Ambassador Do-hyun was having breakfast with his 5-year-old son, Taemin. Do-hyun was a human from Earth. He was here for important meetings with other species leaders. He had brought Taemin because his wife was working on another planet. She was a doctor helping sick people far away. Taemin was a small boy with round cheeks and bright eyes. He was eating his cereal very slowly because he was distracted. He kept looking out the window at the big station around them. Everything here was new and exciting. There were aliens of all shapes and sizes walking past their quarters. Some had fur, some had scales, some looked like floating clouds. "Papa, can we go exploring?" Taemin asked in Korean. Do-hyun smiled at his son. "After breakfast, I have meetings all day. Mrs. Soman will watch you. You need to stay with her, okay? No wandering off." Taemin nodded, but he was not really listening. He was thinking about all the interesting things he might see. Mrs. Soman arrived an hour later. She was a kind older woman who worked as a caretaker for diplomats' children. She had gray hair and a soft voice. "Come, Taemin. Let us go to the observation deck. You can watch the spaceships." Taemin took her hand and they walked through the station corridors. The observation deck was a huge room with windows that showed outer space. There were many other children there with their alien parents. Taemin watched the ships come and go. He saw planets in the distance. Everything was so big and beautiful. After a while, Mrs. Soman sat down to rest. "Stay where I can see you," she said. Taemin promised he would. But then he heard something strange. It was a sound like crying, or maybe angry chirping. He turned his head and saw a hallway that led away from the observation deck. The sound was coming from there. He looked at Mrs. Soman. She had closed her eyes to rest. Taemin walked slowly toward the hallway. The sound got louder. He walked past some doors. He walked past some aliens who did not notice him. He was small and quiet. Finally, he came to a big room with windows. Inside the room was a cage. Inside the cage was the dragon. Taemin had never seen a dragon before. He knew about them from storybooks, but those were Earth dragons. This one was different. It had black scales that sparkled like jewels. Lightning danced across its body in purple waves. It had wings folded against its back. It had a long tail with spikes on the end. Its golden eyes were bright and angry. The dragon was pacing back and forth in the cage. It made angry sounds. It scratched at the metal with its claws. Sometimes it breathed small bursts of fire at the walls. Taemin could see that the dragon was scared and upset. It reminded him of when his cat got trapped in a box once. The cat had been so scared and angry until Taemin let it out. "Poor dragon," Taemin whispered in Korean. The dragon stopped moving. It turned its head and looked right at Taemin. Its golden eyes met the boy's brown eyes. For a moment, nothing happened. The dragon tilted its head to one side. The purple lightning on its scales got softer. Less angry. More curious, Taman smiled. He waved his small hand at the dragon. Hello, he said quietly. Are you sad? The dragon made a different sound. Not angry anymore. It sounded confused. Maybe a little interested. Taman saw that there was a small door at the bottom of the viewing window. It had a sign on it with alien words he could not read, but the door was not locked. Someone had forgotten to lock it properly. Taman was small enough to fit through. He pushed the door open and crawled through. The alarms did not go off because the door was too small. It was meant for maintenance, not for people. Taman stood up on the other side. He was now in the same room as the Emperor Dragon, the most dangerous creature in the galaxy, the creature that had hurt 4 trained alien handlers, the creature that melted metal with its breath. The dragon stared at the little boy. Taman walked closer to the cage. His steps were slow and careful, not because he was afraid, but because he did not want to scare the dragon. It is okay, he said softly in Korean. I will not hurt you. The dragon's eyes followed his every move. The purple lightning stopped completely. The dragon sat down. It just sat there and watched the small human child walk up to its cage. Taman reached the bars. He was so small that he had to stand on his toes to see through properly. The dragon moved closer. Very slowly. Its scales made a soft clicking sound as it moved. It brought its face close to the bars, close to Taman's hands. The boy reached his hand through the bars. His fingers were tiny compared to the dragon's head. You are like Beol, Taman said. Beol means star. You sparkle like stars. The dragon closed its eyes. Very gently it pressed its nose against Taman's palm. Its scales were warm but not hot. They felt smooth and strong. The dragon made a soft rumbling sound in its throat. It sounded almost like purring. Taman giggled. You are nice. Not scary at all. At that exact moment in the security control room, an officer noticed something wrong on the monitors. Commander Yura! There is a child in the dragon containment area. Yura ran to the screens. Her face went pale. A small human boy was standing right next to the dragon's cage. His hand was inside the cage. He was petting the dragon's face. The dragon was not attacking. It was not breathing fire. It was sitting there calmly, letting the child touch it. How did he get in there? Yura shouted. The maintenance hatch was not locked properly, the officer said. Get a security team there now, Yura ordered. But tell them to move slowly. If they scare the dragon, it might attack the child. Yura ran toward the containment area. Her heart was beating fast. In all her years as a station commander, she had never been so scared. The child was in terrible danger. Everyone knew Emperor dragons killed anything that came near them. The boy had seconds to live at most. But when Yura arrived and looked through the viewing window, she could not believe what she saw. The dragon had rolled onto its back. Its belly was facing up. This was a position of trust. Animals only showed their bellies when they felt safe. The small boy was scratching the dragon's stomach with both hands. He was laughing. The dragon's tail was wagging slowly like a happy dog. Impossible, Yura whispered. The nearest sanctuary world is 3 days away by fast ship, Yura said. But the Draconid fleet could. The news spread through the station like fire. Within hours, everyone knew about the human child and the Emperor Dragon. Some people thought it was wonderful. Others thought it was dangerous. But everyone agreed on one thing. The Draconid Empire would not be happy when they found out. In the station's busy marketplace, aliens whispered to each other in dozens of languages. Did you hear? A human boy tamed an Emperor Dragon. Impossible. Everyone knows Emperor dragons cannot be tamed. I saw it with my own eyes. The dragon follows the boy like a pet. The Draconids will kill them both. That last whisper was the most common. Everyone feared the Draconid Empire. They were a race of tall, gray-skinned aliens with cold eyes and colder hearts. They had conquered many worlds. They ruled with an iron fist. And this particular Emperor Dragon was special to them. It was the last hatchling from a royal dragon bloodline. The Draconids had stolen the egg from a protected planet. They wanted to raise the dragon as a weapon of war. In a dark corner of the station, a bounty hunter with green scales was sending an encrypted message. The message traveled through space to a criminal network. It said, Emperor Dragon hatchling located at Station Harmony. Bonded to human child. Worth fortune to right buyer. arriving in 12 hours to capture. The bounty hunter was not alone. Across the galaxy, dozens of criminals, mercenaries, and treasure seekers received similar information. They all saw the same opportunity. Capture the dragon and the boy together, sell them to the highest bidder. Some planned to sell to the Draconid Empire. Others knew that wealthy collectors would pay even more for such a rare bonded pair. Commander Yura sat in her office with her head in her hands. Her desk was covered with messages, threats from the Draconids, requests from scientists who wanted to study the bond, offers from private security companies wanting to help. She did not know who to trust. Minji entered the office. "Commander, I have bad news. Our sensors picked up 15 ships entering this sector. They are not commercial vessels, they are fighter ships and hunter vessels." "How long until they arrive?" Yura asked. "The fastest ones will be here in 6 hours. The rest within 12 hours. Yura stood up and looked out her window at the stars. "We need to move Taemin and Bayal now. Every minute they stay here, they are in more danger." In the diplomatic quarters, Ambassador Dohyun was packing bags with shaking hands. Taemin sat on the bed watching his father. Bayal was curled up next to the boy, the dragon's golden eyes watching everything carefully. In just one day, Bayal had already grown. The dragon was now the size of a large dog. Emperor dragons grew fast when they were happy and well-fed. Taemin had been feeding Bayal snacks all day, and the dragon loved every one of them. "Papa, where are we going?" Taemin asked. "On an adventure," Dohyun said, trying to smile. He did not want to scare his son. "We are going to a special place where you and Bayal can be safe. Are bad people coming?" Taemin asked. He was young, but he was not stupid. He could tell his father was scared. Dohyun knelt down in front of his son. "Some people do not understand that you and Bayal are friends. They think Bayal is just a dangerous animal. But we know better, right?" Taemin nodded. He put his arms around Bayal's neck. "Bayal is good. Bayal is my best friend." Bayal made a protective rumbling sound. The dragon understood that something was wrong. Its scales began to glow with purple light. This was a defense mechanism. When Emperor dragons sensed danger, they prepared to fight. "It is okay, Bayal," Taemin said softly in Korean. He stroked the dragon's head. "We will be okay. Papa will keep us safe." The dragon's glow faded a little. It trusted the boy's voice. Hakjin arrived with his portable computer and several bags of equipment. "I am coming with you," he announced. "You will need a xenobiologist who understands the bond. I can also help communicate with the Sanctuary World authorities when we arrive." Dohyun wanted to argue, but he knew Hakjin was right. "Thank you," he said simply. Mrs. Somin arrived next, carrying food and water supplies. "I am coming too. Taemin needs someone familiar to help care for him during the journey." Soon a small group had formed. Dohyun, Taemin, Bayal, Hakjin, Mrs. Somin, Minji, and Commander Yura. They were all willing to risk their careers and lives to protect one small boy and his dragon. Yura had arranged for her fastest diplomatic shuttle. It was a sleek silver ship with powerful engines. It could make the 3-day journey to the Sanctuary World in 2 days if they pushed it. "The shuttle is ready. We need to move now, before those bounty hunter ships get close enough to intercept us." They moved through the station using maintenance corridors. They avoided the main areas where they might be seen. Bayal walked next to Taemin, matching the boy's small steps. The dragon's claws clicked softly on the metal floor. Several times they had to stop and hide when other station workers passed by. Each time Taemin would whisper to Bayal to be quiet, and the dragon would not make a sound. They reached the docking bay where the shuttle waited. But they were not alone. A group of rough-looking aliens blocked their path. These were bounty hunters who had arrived early. There were 5 of them, all carrying weapons. The leader was a massive creature with 4 arms and red skin. "Give us the dragon and the human child," it growled. "Do this and no one gets hurt." Minji stepped forward, her weapon drawn. "You are breaking station law. Leave now or face arrest." The bounty hunter laughed. "There are 5 of us and only 1 of you. We will take what we came for." That was when Bayal moved. The dragon stepped in front of Taman protectively. The purple lightning across its scales became bright and angry. Biol opened its mouth and a warning growl came out. The sound was deep and terrifying. It echoed through the docking bay. The bounty hunters had not expected this. They knew emperor dragons were dangerous, but they thought a small one would be easy to control. They were wrong. Biol might be young, but it had all the instincts of its species. And right now those instincts said, protect the boy at all costs. One bounty hunter made a mistake. He reached for his weapon. Biol moved faster than anyone could see. A burst of purple fire shot from the dragon's mouth. The fire hit the bounty hunter's weapon and melted it instantly. The metal dripped to the floor like water. The bounty hunter screamed and dropped the melted weapon. "Nobody move!" Yura shouted. "The dragon is protecting its bonded companion. If you attack, it will kill you. Emperor Dragonfire can melt through anything." The bounty hunters looked at each other nervously. They had not expected this level of danger. The leader growled, "The Draconids will pay us more than you can imagine." "The Draconids are not here," Minji said. "We are. Leave now while you still can." For a long moment nobody moved. Then the leader snarled and gestured to his crew. They backed away slowly, keeping their eyes on the dragon. When they were far enough away, they turned and ran. "That was too close," Dohyun said, his heart pounding. "They will tell others," Hakjin warned. "We need to leave immediately." They rushed onto the shuttle. The interior was clean and comfortable, with seats for passengers and a small cargo area. Yura went straight to the pilot's chair. Minji sat beside her as co-pilot. The others strapped themselves into seats. Biol curled up at Taman's feet, the dragon's body fitting perfectly in the floor space. The shuttle's engines roared to life. They lifted off from the docking bay and shot into space. Behind them, Station Harmony grew smaller and smaller. "We are away," Yura said. "Setting course for Sanctuary World Kepler 7. Travel time, 48 hours. But her celebration was short-lived. The sensors started beeping frantically. Minji checked the readings and her face went pale. "Commander, we have incoming ships. Multiple contacts. They are moving to intercept us." On the sensor screen, Yura could see 6 ships closing in on their position. They were hunter vessels, fast and armed. Behind them, more ships were appearing. The bounty hunters had called for backup. "Can we outrun them?" Dohyun asked. Yura pushed the engines to maximum power. The shuttle shook as it accelerated. "Maybe. Our ship is fast, but they are determined." Taman held onto his seat tightly. Biol sensed his fear and put its head on the boy's lap. "It is okay, Biol," Taman whispered. "We will be okay." The first hunter ship fired a warning shot. The blast flew past the shuttle, missing by only a few meters. The shuttle rocked from the near miss. "They are trying to force us to stop," Minji said. "Not happening," Yura said through gritted teeth. She changed course suddenly, diving under the hunter ships. The shuttle spun and twisted through space like a dancer. Yura was an excellent pilot. She had trained in the Earth Space Navy before becoming a station commander. More shots were fired. Some hit the shuttle's shields, making the whole ship shake. Taman cried out in fear. Biol made angry sounds. The dragon wanted to protect its boy but could not do anything stuck inside the ship. "Hold on," Yura shouted. She pushed the shuttle into a dangerous maneuver, flying through an asteroid field. The rocks were everywhere, spinning and tumbling through space. One wrong move would mean death. The hunter ships followed, but they were not as skilled. 2 of them crashed into asteroids and exploded into balls of fire. The other ships slowed down, afraid to follow further. "We lost them," Minji said with relief. But then the sensor showed something worse, a Massey. The shuttle flew through space at maximum speed. Inside, everyone was quiet and tense. They were waiting. The Draconid warship was still out there, moving to block their path. They needed help to arrive before it was too late. Taman had fallen asleep in his father's arms. The fear and stress had exhausted the little boy. Biol was curled around both of them, the dragon's warm body providing comfort, even in sleep. Taman's hand rested on Biol's scales. The bond between them had grown stronger with each passing hour. Hakjin was studying his computer screen. "This is remarkable," he said quietly. not wanting to wake Taman. According to my readings, the bond is deepening faster than it should. Normally, a Guardian and Dragon bond took months to fully form. But Taman and Biol are already completely synchronized. Their heartbeats match. Their breathing patterns are identical. Even their brainwaves are showing similar patterns. What does that mean? Do-hyun asked. It means they truly need each other now, Hakjin explained. Separating them would cause serious harm to both. The dragon might go into a rage state and destroy everything around it. The boy might fall into depression or worse. Do-hyun looked down at his sleeping son. Then we make sure they are never separated. Mrs. Soman was preparing food in the small shuttle kitchen. She was trying to stay useful, to keep her mind off the danger they were in. When we get to the sanctuary world, what happens then? She asked. We register them as a bonded pair, Yura answered from the pilot seat. The sanctuary worlds have ancient laws. Once a bond is registered and accepted, it is protected by all galactic treaties. No one, not even the Draconid Empire, can legally break it. But we have to get there first, Minji added, watching the sensors, and that is looking more difficult by the minute. The sensor screen showed the Draconid warship was now joined by 3 more ships. They were forming a blockade, spreading out to cover all possible routes to the sanctuary world. They are not taking any chances, Yura said. They want that dragon back badly. It is not just about the dragon anymore, Hakjin said. Emperor dragons bonded to guardians were extremely powerful. The legends say they could fight entire armies. If the Draconids understand what this bond means, they will want to control both Taman and Biol. They would try to use them as weapons. Do-hyun's arms tightened around his son. Nobody is using my child as a weapon. Suddenly the communication system crackled to life. Attention, shuttle. This is Commander Vorak of the Draconid Empire. You are carrying stolen property. Return the Emperor Dragon immediately and we will not harm you. Yura did not answer. She kept flying. The voice came again, harder this time. This is your only warning. Return the dragon or face destruction. Minji leaned forward. Should we respond? No, Yura said firmly. Talking will not help. They have already decided what they want. We just need to buy time. But the Draconid ships were getting closer. The blockade was tightening. Yura changed course, trying to find a gap, but the enemy ships moved to block her every time. They were hurting the shuttle, forcing it to slow down. How long until the Earth fleet arrives? Mrs. Soman asked nervously. 20 minutes, Yura said. Maybe less if they are pushing their engines. We need to last 20 minutes then, Minji said. Taman woke up. He rubbed his eyes and looked around.
Papa, are we safe yet?
Soon, Do-hyun promised, though he did not believe it himself. Biol raised its head. The dragon's golden eyes were alert. It could sense danger even without seeing the sensor screens. The purple lightning began dancing across its scales again. The dragon's scales were glowing brighter now than ever before. Biol was ready to fight if needed. The dragon is growing more powerful, Hakjin observed. The bond is making it stronger. This is what the old text described. A bonded emperor dragon has twice the power of an unbonded one. The Draconid ships fired warning shots. Plasma bolts streaked past the shuttle, close enough that everyone could see the bright flashes through the windows. Taman gasped and grabbed onto Biol. The dragon made soothing sounds trying to calm its boy. They are trying to scare us into stopping, Yura said. She pushed the engines harder. The shuttle groaned under the stress. Come on, hold together, she whispered to her ship. Another blast hit their rear shields. The shuttle shook violently. Alarms started blaring. Minji worked frantically at her console. Shields are down to 40%. Another hit like that and we are in trouble. The Draconid commander's voice came through again. You cannot escape. Surrender now and the child will not be harmed. They are lying, Hakjin said. They will take both the dragon and Taman. Once they have them, they will never let them go. Do-hyun made a decision. He strapped Taman into a safety seat. Stay here, son. Papa needs to do something. Where are you going? Taman asked, scared. Just to help the pilots, Do-hyun said. He kissed his son's forehead. Then he went to the communication console and opened a channel. Draconid ships, this is Ambassador Do-hyun of Earth. The creature you are chasing is not property. It is a living being bonded to my son. Under galactic law, you have no claim to either of them. Galactic law does not apply here, Commander Vorak responded. The dragon was ours before it bonded. Therefore, it remains ours. Your son stole it. My son is 5 years old, Do-hyun said angrily. He did not steal anything. The dragon chose him. This is a natural bond recognized by ancient treaties. We do not care about ancient treaties. Return the dragon now or we will destroy your shuttle and take it from the wreckage. Do-hyun ended the communication. They will not listen to reason. Then we fight, Minji said. She armed the shuttle's small weapons. They were nothing compared to the Draconid warships, but it was better than nothing. The Draconid ships moved closer, surrounding the shuttle. There was nowhere to run now. They were trapped. This is bad, Mrs. Soman whispered. Taemin was crying quietly in his seat. He did not understand everything that was happening, but he knew they were in danger. Bial climbed onto the seat next to him, carefully placing itself between the boy and the nearest wall. The dragon's body was a shield. Yura prepared to make one last desperate run. She would fly straight at the Draconid warships and try to break through. It was suicide, but it was their only chance. Then space itself seemed to tear open. A dozen ships appeared out of hyperspace. They were Earth Defense Fleet vessels, sleek and powerful. The largest one was a battleship with weapons bristling from every surface. They positioned themselves between the Draconid warships and the small shuttle. This is Admiral Jinho of the Earth Defense Fleet, a strong voice said over the communication channel. Draconid vessels, you are threatening a human child. Stand down immediately, Commander Vorak responded. This is not your concern, Earth Fleet. We are recovering stolen property. A living creature bonded to a human child is not property, Admiral Jinho said. His voice was cold and hard. It is protected under galactic bonding treaties which Earth recognizes and enforces. You will stand down or face consequences. You cannot fight the entire Draconid Empire over one dragon, Vorak said. Watch us, Admiral Jinho replied. The Earth ships powered up their weapons. The Draconid ships did the same. For a moment, it looked like a massive space battle was about to begin. Inside the shuttle, everyone held their breath. Taemin pressed his face against Biol's scales. I am scared, he whispered in Korean. Me too, Do-hyun admitted quietly. Then something unexpected happened. More ships appeared. These were not Earth ships or Draconid ships. They were from dozens of different species. Small merchant vessels, scientific research ships, even some private yachts. They positioned themselves around the Earth fleet. This is Captain Thora of the Merchant Guild, a female voice said. We stand with Earth, bonded pairs must be protected. This is Professor Kalen of the Science Council, another voice added. The bond between this human and the Emperor Dragon is a miracle. It must not be destroyed. More and more voices joined in, representatives from different species, all saying the same thing. They would not allow the Draconids to take the boy and the dragon. Commander Vorak was silent for a long time. He was calculating. His 4 ships against dozens of others. Even if he won, the cost would be too high. The Draconid Empire was powerful, but they could not afford to make enemies of every other species in the galaxy. This is not over, Vorak finally said. The Empire will remember this. The Draconid warships turned and jumped into hyperspace. They were gone. Inside the shuttle, everyone started breathing again. Mrs. Soman started crying with relief. Minji laughed and punched the air with her fist. Hakjin's hands were shaking as he saved all his data. Admiral Jinho's voice came through the communication system again. Shuttle, are you all safe? Yes, Admiral, Yura replied. Her voice was shaking too. Thanks to you. We protect our own, Admiral Jinho said simply. Proceed to the sanctuary world. We will escort you. The Earth fleet formed a protective formation around the shuttle. Together they continued toward their destination. No one would dare attack now, not with so many witnesses and defenders. Taemin looked out the window at all the ships. Papa, are those people here to help us? Yes, son, Do-hyun said. He was smiling and crying at the same time. People from all over the galaxy came to help you and Bial, because they believe your friendship is special and worth protecting. Really? Taemin asked, his eyes wide. Really, Do-hyun confirmed. Bial made a happy chirping sound. The 3 months had passed since Taemin and Bial arrived at the sanctuary world. In that time, everything had changed. The crystal forest had become their home. The ancient temples were their playground, and the whole galaxy was watching them with wonder. Bial had grown much bigger. The dragon was now the size of a small house. Its wingspan stretched 20 feet when fully extended. Its scales had become darker and more beautiful, shimmering with purple and blue colors. But despite its size and power, Biol was still gentle with Taman. The dragon learned to move carefully around its small human friend. When they played, Biol always held back its strength. Every morning, Taman would wake up in the small house that Do-hyun had built near the crystal forest. Biol slept outside, curled around the house like a protective wall. When Taman came outside, Biol would lower its great head for morning scratches. This was their routine. This was their life now. "Good morning, Biol," Taman said in Korean, patting the dragon's nose. "Did you sleep well?" Biol rumbled happily and nudged the boy gently with its snout. Taman laughed and climbed onto the dragon's back. He had become quite good at dragon riding. Biol would fly through the sky with Taman holding onto the spines along its neck. They would soar above the crystal trees through rainbow-colored clouds over sparkling lakes. It was the most amazing thing in the world. Do-hyun stood in the doorway of their house, drinking his morning coffee and watching his son. He had been scared at first, seeing Taman fly so high on a dragon's back. But Biol had never let the boy fall. Not even once. The dragon's instincts would not allow its bonded human to come to any harm. After their morning flight, Taman and Biol would visit the learning center. The Sanctuary Council had established a special school for bonded pairs. Here Taman learned about dragon care, bonding history, and galactic culture. Biol learned alongside him, somehow understanding the lessons even though they were given in words. Other children had started arriving at the sanctuary. The news of Taman and Biol had spread across the galaxy. Human families began bringing their children to the sanctuary, hoping to find bonds of their own. Not all creatures wanted to bond, but some did. A human girl named Yoonji bonded with a star phoenix. A human boy named Jiwon bonded with a silver wolf from the ice planet Theta 9. Each bond was unique and special, but Taman and Biol's bond was still the most famous. Scientists came from across the galaxy to study them. Reporters wanted interviews. Artists painted pictures of them. They had become symbols of something important, that humans had a special gift for connecting with other creatures. Hakjin had stayed at the sanctuary to continue his research. He had written 5 papers about the bond. Universities across the galaxy were using his work to understand human biochemistry better. "You two are teaching us things we never knew," he told Taman one day. "Because of you, we understand that humans might be the key to connecting with many species that we thought were impossible to reach." Mrs. Somin had also stayed. She helped run the school for bonded children. She taught them to cook, clean, and take care of themselves. But she also taught them about love and kindness. "Your bond with Biol is special because you have a good heart," she told Taman. "Never forget that. Power without kindness is dangerous." Commander Yura visited every few weeks. She had become a hero on Earth for protecting Taman and Biol. The Earth government had given her medals and honors, but she always said, "I was just doing what was right." Anyone would have done the same. Minji had joined the Sanctuary Security Force. Her job was to protect all the bonded pairs. She took her work seriously. The Sanctuary had become a target for those who wanted to capture rare bonded creatures. But Minji and her team kept everyone safe. The Draconid Empire had not given up completely. They sent diplomatic messages demanding the return of the dragon. They argued that the egg had been their property. But the Sanctuary Council refused every request. "The bond is sacred," they said. "No law of ownership can override it." Eventually, the Draconids stopped asking. They realized the galaxy was against them on this issue. Some said they were planning something else, but nothing had happened yet. Do-hyun remained vigilant, always watching for threats. One sunny afternoon, Taman was sitting by a crystal stream with Biol. The dragon was drinking water while the boy skipped stones across the surface. It was peaceful and quiet. "Biol," Taman said thoughtfully, "do you remember when we first met? You were so angry and scared." Biol looked at the boy with its intelligent golden eyes. The dragon made a soft sound like it was remembering. "I was not scared of you," Taman continued. "I knew you were just lonely. Everyone needs a friend, right? Even dragons." Biol lowered its head and gently pressed its nose against Taman's chest. It was the dragon's way of saying thank you. Thank you for seeing past the anger. Thank you for offering friendship when everyone else offered fear. Taman hugged the dragon's massive head. His arms could barely reach halfway around. "You are my best friend forever, Biol. I will never leave you." That evening, there was a celebration in the sanctuary. It was the 3-month anniversary of the first human-dragon bond in millions of years. Creatures from all over the sanctuary gathered in the central plaza. There were humans, aliens, and bonded pairs of all kinds. There was food, music, and laughter. Admiral Jinho had traveled from Earth to attend. He gave a speech about how proud Earth was of Taemin and Biol. You have shown the galaxy what humanity is truly about. Not conquest or domination, but connection and compassion. You have made us all proud. Taemin did not really understand all the big words. He was just happy to be with his family and friends. He sat with his father eating cake, while Biol lay nearby accepting treats from various well-wishers. After the celebration, as the 3 suns of the sanctuary world set in the sky, Taemin and his father walked back to their house. Biol walked beside them, the dragon's tail swishing contentedly. "Papa," Taemin asked, "will we always live here?" Do-hyun thought about the question. "I do not know, son. Maybe one day we will return to Earth, or maybe we will go somewhere else. But wherever we go together. Yumi and Biol, what about Mama?" Taemin asked. He missed his mother. She had been away for so long. "Mama will join us soon," Do-hyun promised. "Her work is almost finished. She is very excited to meet Biol." Taemin smiled at the thought of his mother meeting his dragon friend. She will love Biol. Everyone loves Biol now, it was true. The dragon that no one dared approach was now beloved across the galaxy. Children wore costumes that looked like Biol. Toys were made in the dragon's image. But Biol did not care about fame. The dragon only cared about one thing: the small human boy who had offered friendship when everyone else offered only chains. That night, as Taemin slept in his bed, Biol lay outside as always. The dragon's eyes remained open, watching for danger that might never come. Guardian instincts ran deep. The dragon would protect its human for as long as they both lived. Inside the house, Do-hyun sat at his desk writing a letter to his wife. He told her about Taemin's progress, about Biol's growth, about the life they had built here. He told her about the other bonded pairs, about the school, about the friends they had made. But most importantly, he told her about how happy Taemin was. "Our son has found his purpose," Do-hyun wrote. "He is not just a boy anymore. He is a guardian, the first human guardian in millions of years. And he is teaching us all what that means." Months turned into years. Taemin grew from a 5-year-old child into a young boy of 8. Biol grew from a house-sized dragon into a magnificent creature the size of a large building. Other human children continued to arrive at the sanctuary, forming bonds of their own. The sanctuary became a thriving community. Earth opened formal diplomatic relations with species that had previously ignored humanity. The reason was simple. Humans had proven they could connect with creatures others feared. This made humans valuable allies. Entire new fields of study opened up. Human xenobiologists, diplomats, and caretakers became sought after across the galaxy. The Draconid Empire eventually collapsed from within. Their cruel methods of ruling had made too many enemies. When they fell, many of the creatures they had enslaved were freed. Some of these creatures came to the sanctuary seeking human partners. The Emperor Dragon bloodline, once destined to be weapons of war, instead became symbols of peace and partnership. Taemin's mother, Dr. Sumi, finally arrived at the sanctuary. She was amazed by everything she saw, but most of all she was amazed by the bond between her son and Biol. "I have studied medicine my entire life," she said, "but I have never seen anything as miraculous as this." Biol liked Sumi immediately. The dragon could sense that this woman was important to Taemin, so she was important to Biol too. The dragon was gentle with her, just as gentle as it was with Taemin. Life in the sanctuary was not always easy. There were challenges and problems. Sometimes new bonded pairs struggled to understand each other. Sometimes creatures fell ill and needed care. Sometimes bad people tried to steal bonded pairs to sell them. But the sanctuary community faced these challenges together. They were a family now, united by bonds that went deeper than species or origin. On Taemin's night,